Thank you. We will now move on to the next item of business, and could I please ask our guests in the gallery who are leaving the chamber to please do so quickly and quietly as we're moving on to the next item of business. Thank you very much indeed for your cooperation. So the next item of business is a members' business debate on motion 14645 in the name of Christine Graham on 25 years of Tweeddale Youth Action. This debate will be concluded without any questions being put, and I would invite those members who would wish to speak in the debate to please press the request to speak buttons, and I call on Christine Graham to open the debate. Up to 7 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Deputy Presiding Officer. First of all, can I thank all members who signed my motion to allow this debate to proceed. Now, we all know that young people inhabit an increasingly complex world, and COVID lockdowns have had a profound effect on their growth and development, as well as their hopes and fears for the future. Ever easier access to drugs and alcohol has led to increased experimentation, which is starting at younger and younger ages. Coupled with often unrestricted access to the internet and the pressures of social media, youth well-being is probably at an all-time low. As the world around us becomes more polarised, young people need safe spaces to socialise, to meet new people, hear new perspectives, to challenge and to be challenged on their views and behaviour. This is where youth work can be a powerful force for good in the lives of our young people and indeed our communities. One such youth work organisation, Tweeddale Youth Action, I'll now call it TYA, has just celebrated 25 years of working with Tweeddale's young people through its committed and talented staff team, led by Localities Manager Dave Hodson, delivering a fantastic range of youth work services and opportunities for young people in Peebles, Innerleithing and surrounding areas. So to illustrate, here are just some of its activities. Start with drop-ins. These are casual, commitment-free access that gives young people the confidence to come in to see what TYA is all about without having to make a commitment themselves. Held on Mondays and Thursdays in Innerleithen and Wednesdays and Fridays in Peebles. These are crucial to begin to build those essential trusting relationships. For some young people, these may be some of the only positive adult relationships that they experience. There are a variety of activities on offer, including the usual table tennis and pool, but also accessing free food at the youth club. This continues to be important to young people who attend. Many of our young people are hungry, and for some, TYA helps fill a poverty gap, particularly during school holidays. Then there's Bike Punks. TYA continues to develop its facilities at Innerleithen, with the workshop being put to greater use to provide learning opportunities to weld and repair bicycles through the Bike Punks brand. With Innerleithen's Centre of Excellence in mountain biking industry, this continues to grow and is definitely an area TYA want to continue to expand in the future. Teaching skills that local employers need and value, particularly as the Tweed Valley becomes increasingly well known for cycling. More punks, food punks. These have been exciting developments in Peebles, where food punks, led by Stuart Clink, have opened a fast food pizza shop in the High Street. Project Pizza Training Academy and Pizzeria, an ambitious and challenging project which is not without risk. But TYA feel that the rewards are justified to allow young people to develop skills which can be used in the hospitality industry through exposure to real-life catering, meeting real people, real business, as nothing beats learning on the job. And in a supportive environment, this helps the young people involved to achieve and exceed their goals. In time, it's hoped the skills learned in the shop will lead to formal qualifications for all of those being trained by the talented Food Punks team. The shop in the High Street at Peebles follows years of Food Punks delivering a wide array of outside and event catering with different food offerings and very little repetition. That has been great in itself, but it didn't allow the repetition that helps to consolidate the young people's skills. Project Pizza helped narrow the focus, and more importantly, it gave a platform to teach and help young people refine skills. Next will be out and about. Making friends, strengthening existing friendships, breaking down barriers and being open to new ideas and new experience, which can make a huge difference to a young person's outlook. Through their Easter, summer and Christmas holiday programmes and trips away, they continue to see increased confidence, self-esteem and aspirations, as well as reduced anxiety, loneliness and isolation, just as a result of attending these trips, including to theme parks, beaches, art galleries, museums, city trips to Edinburgh and Glasgow, and Youth Beats Music Festival. It's not rocket science. It's hands-on practical. It's about belonging, having an identity, and seeing there is reason to be optimistic and hopeful for the future. If young people don't get this through positive experience, they may find it through other means, which are not good for them. Stepping stones. It's another example. TYA continues to provide one-to-one support through the very successful Borders-wide Stepping Stones programmes that targets individuals who require additional help in achieving their full potential. This is a partnership youth work project with Youth Borders, aimed at young people aged 10 to 18 to improve emotional well-being and their life chances. It works alongside schools, social work and other youth and community-based organisations to ensure support is focused on those who need it most. And here are some of the comments of the young people who took part. It increased their ability to express their point of view with other people. They know where to go to access trusted information to help make informed choices. They say their confidence has increased and they consider the potential risks before making choices about where to go and what to do. All of this by TYA under the guidance and presence of the excellent Dave Hodson. So I say well done, Dave and team, and I look forward to visiting you soon. I think my diary is for the 13th of December, and while I'm on my feet, I suggest to the Minister that he visits some of these projects I've mentioned because they're just good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Graham. We move to open debate. Backbench speeches of up to 4 minutes. I call Emma Harper to be followed by Craig Coyne. Ms Harper.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I welcome the opportunity to speak in this debate and congratulate Christine Graham on securing it. Ms Graham has highlighted really well the challenges facing our young people in Scotland today. And I too want to start by paying tribute to Tweeddale Youth Action, both on their recent 25th year anniversary and also for the work and support they provide to young people across the Tweeddale area. Tweeddale Youth Action does give young people a safe space and an alternative to hanging out in bus stops and street corners. Through providing free opportunities for all, they help young people to develop skills, grow in confidence, make smart choices, take responsibility and ultimately feel that sense of belonging within their community that we all need. I was particularly interested to read that the charity has converted an empty People's High Street shop into a new Food Punks Project pizza facility, as Christine Graham has described. And members might know that I've raised the issue of action that needs to be taken on vacant, abandoned and derelict buildings. So converting an empty High Street shop is really, really good to see. Presiding Officer, as well as Tweeddale Youth Action, there are a number of other organisations carrying out similar work across other parts of the country, including in Dumfries and Galloway in my South Scotland region. Dumfries and Galloway's Council Youth Work Service is an integral part of the Council's Education, Skills and Community Wellbeing Directorate and operates under 5 overarching principles and priorities. These are community-based youth work in schools, youth democracy and participation, wider achievement and accreditation, and lastly, support to and collaboration with the third sector. Dumfries and Galloway Council's Youth Work Service works with young people aged 12 to 25 to provide a range of universal and targeted youth work opportunities across Dumfries and Galloway for young people to get involved in. The team, whom I have met on a number of occasions, deliver a range of projects, programmes and services across our region to broaden young people's horizons and to aid their personal and social development, to name a few. Some of the awards and achievements that the team offer include John Muir, Saltire, High Five Dynamic Youth and Youth Achievement. That's part of the Youth Scotland Awards, Heritage Hero, Participative Democracy Certificate and Duke of Edinburgh Awards. And I know how valuable these awards can be for young people who take part. Presiding Officer, one of the pieces of work carried out by Dumfries and Galloway Youth Work, which aimed to directly give young people a voice, was the 10,000 Voices Action Project, which then led to the published 10,000 Voices report. 10,000 Voices in Action is a project focused on enabling young people to use their voices to have autonomy to have autonomy over their own funding, and young people decide who receives the funding. The youth action groups are made up from young people in every area across Dumfries and Galloway who will be coming together virtually to explore what are the issues within their community and how do they want those issues solved. Of the 14 questions asked, the highest scoring responses across the region were in relation to young people feeling safe in their community, being able to regularly experience good quality natural spaces, and that young people felt that they should easily walk and cycle around their local area. Interestingly, the report also showed that many young people wished to stay in the region but were concerned that no employment opportunities would be available. And I know there is ongoing work to resolve this. So finally, Presiding Officer, I would be one of the members that would invite the Minister to consider meeting Dumfries and Galloway to meet the young people at the team and the youth work service. I again welcome this debate proposed by Christine Graham and all the work which is underway to support our young people in Scotland, and I'm looking forward to attending the Youth Awards ceremony this evening in Dumfries at Easterbrook Hall. Thank you, Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Ms Harper. I call Craig Hoy to be followed by Martin Whitfield. Mr Hoy.
Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. And can I congratulate Christine Graham on bringing this debate to Parliament debate. Ms Graham and myself do seem to be appearing on stage and on screen as a regular duo at the moment. I'm not sure if we're Romeo and Juliet or Hinge and Bracket. I will leave others to determine that. But like Christine Graham, I have recently also visited Tweeddale Youth Action to learn more about their important work. And I visited also a couple of years ago with one of my council colleagues to see the Youth Drop-In Centre in action. And I had the pleasure 2 weeks ago of popping in to Food Punks to see their new People's High Street pizza parlour in action, and to meet with Stuart Clink and Dave Hodson, just to see their commitment, which is invaluable. In a sense, they have become like rock stars in their own community, because, as Stuart said, some of the young people, as Christine Graham alluded to, have not and do not have that meaningful contact with adults in a constructive way. And it was great to see that in action. The premises have got a really cool and smart interior for a younger generation, but if anyone is visiting Peebles or lives in Peebles in the Tweeddale area, I would encourage them to visit Food Punks. They have a fantastic meal deal offer, and it is high quality ingredients as well. But it's not just about appearances. The whole shop is a safe, inspiring and creative environment where the young people themselves can express themselves, ask questions, be themselves and learn in a welcoming and friendly environment. Now, through Food Punks, young people from across Peebles are receiving invaluable mentorship, a kind of mentorship that they may not have got in a traditional learning environment. And Stuart and Dave are very clear that this is an alternative route for children who may have been failed through other routes and traditional methodologies. They provide real-world, hands-on experiences, which will be, I think, for many of the young people, transformative, developing skills that can be taken not just around the United Kingdom, that could take some of those young people around the world. And I think we should learn from those kinds of projects, because they do shine a light on how, for a relatively small number of people, life could be very difficult if they relied simply on traditional educational pathways. So this kind of practical learning is exactly what some young people need to thrive. Now, it's also an opportunity for young people to gain confidence, to engage with members of the public, to acquire those important practical skills, but also to develop, and I think this is a point that Stuart and Dave recognised, for those young people to become part of a team, something that they may not have experienced in their life before. Now, hospitality is a hugely rewarding industry, and it is one that is not celebrated enough. And there are different pathways into hospitality, and I think it is important that we recognise that this kind of model, Minister, could be a unique but very fulfilling route for young people who might otherwise go in a different direction to start out on a rewarding and a potentially long-term career. It is also, I think, a model that the Scottish Government and other governments should look to put funding into, because it is quite clear that where a young person is failed and goes on to pursue a less wholesome route, then the costs for society and the costs for the individual, their friends and their family are huge. And it is a case where £10 spent today can be multiple hundreds of pounds saved at another point. I'm a huge advocate for this type of education, and I would encourage the Minister not just to visit food punks, but also to look at some of the other projects around the country. The Minister is saying he's been already, which is good to hear. But also, for example, in East Lothian, the work of the Ridge Centre and project in Dunbar, which teaches young people vitally important stonemasonry skills, and also the Bridge Centre in Haddington, where young people learn through programmes such as the motorcycle project. These are all alternatives to traditional learning and skills environments, but they are no less important and impactful for being so. Incidentally, just before closing, I'd like to point out that I've also asked the Holyrood catering team whether or not food punks could use the members' dining room for an evening to showcase their skills. I've noticed that recently some of the catering schools from Scotland's colleges have been afforded that honour and privilege. It would be an honour and a privilege for MSPs to be able to enjoy and to see food punks in action. I'd like to thank Christine Graham for bringing this important debate to the Chamber. It gives us a chance to shine a spotlight on the great work done by TYA. I wish them well at their 25th year milestone and wish them many years of success in delivering for the community in Tweeddale in years to come.
Thank you, Mr Hoy. I now call Martin Whitfield to be followed by Ben McPherson. Mr Whitfield.
I'm very grateful, Deputy Presiding Officer. And like others, can I start by thanking and congratulating Christine Graham for securing this important debate, but also to wish TYA a happy 25 years. It's very important that in this chamber and in the broader session within this country and the government that recognition is given to the importance of youth work. And I think Craig Hoy expressed it very clearly that for some young people, the formality and structure of formal education is not for them. And the advantage that youth work brings is that it allows young people the opportunity to develop their key life skills, to build confidence and engage with their communities in a meaningful way. And they do so on a voluntary basis, which I think aspects of the TYA show so significantly. And if we can address the social, emotional and educational needs, youth work will empower these young people to overcome their barriers and unlock the potential and thrive in their personal and professional lives as they grow up. And despite this importance, the availability of youth work services across Scotland is inconsistent. There are many young people, particularly in rural and economically deprived areas, that face significant barriers to access. It allows me to introduce my proposal for a bill, which is the Youth Work Scotland Bill, for which the consultation was launched on Monday gone. And it also allows me to put on the record my formal apologies to the next speaker, for the launch was taking place at the Citadel within his constituency, where I was thrashed at pool by a brilliant player. But more of that at another time. The purpose of the bill is to try and establish a youth work strategy, a youth work fund, professional development, collaboration and integration, and national standards and evaluation. Because we've already heard, youth work is not just an ethical imperative, but there is a financial reason to do it. The short-term impact is simple. It reduces the need for costly crisis services, interventions. It improves young people's mental health, well-being and resilience. The medium-term impact gives an enhanced educational attainment and social inclusion to alleviate the pressures on the public services which we are only too well aware of. And most importantly, on a long-term basis, young people who can engage with successful youth work, with youth workers who are skilled, it equips them with that confidence and skill to contribute back to Scotland's economy and society, to reduce unemployment, inequality and reliance on welfare support. My Youth Work Bill proposal is more than just a legislative proposal. It's a bold vision for a fairer, more inclusive Scotland. And if we can ensure that youth work is accessible, if we can ensure it is equitable and sustainable, the bill will empower young people to reach their full potential and strengthen the fabric of our communities across the nation. This bill is transformative in its proposals, but it's built on youth work which is itself transformative. The opportunity to build stronger, more resilient communities must be one that we can all gather behind, and it is in our young people that we can see that happen. We have heard excellent examples already today, and in the Tweeddale Youth Action we can see so many brilliant and roll-outable ideas. But each community, each young person, each skilled youth worker engages with a young person at their level. And that is very important. It should be recognised. And can I once again congratulate Christian Graham, because in this debate, that is exactly what we're doing. I'm grateful, Deputy Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Mr Whitfield. And I now call Ben McPherson. Mr McPherson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And I also first want to pay tribute to Christine Graham for bringing this important issue to the Chamber and send my congratulations to TYA. I'm grateful that the motion not only talks about the range of services that youth work provides, the initiatives that are diverse, the employment opportunities and training that is available, the fact that the organisations that provide all of this are often led by volunteers, but of course have staff and trustees that play such an important dedicated role. But also that the motion before us recognises the contribution of youth work across Scotland in improving outcomes for young people. And that is what I want to speak to today. First of all, the organisations that are involved all across the country, organisations like the Scouts, Girl Guides, Boys Brigade, YMCA, which are all impactful in my constituency at a local level through the different groups across Edinburgh, Northern and Leith. But also, like the motion emphasises and like others have highlighted, there are a number of specific organisations that are either based or operating in Edinburgh, Northern Leith, often both, that I would want to raise awareness of and commend today. There's in Leith the Citadel Youth Centre, run by Willie and Ryan and the rest of the team, who for many years have been making a huge difference to the communities in Leith and providing a range of services and collaborations and support. Brian at Pilmeny and the difference that he made. Robbie at Street Soccer Scotland and the collaborations that they have with organisations like Leith Athletic Football Club and also Hibernian Community Foundation, who in themselves also make a big difference. Venture Scotland, that are based in Edinburgh, Northern and Leith, but provide services to a range of young people across the east of Scotland, taking people to places that they wouldn't necessarily go in rural Scotland, including the borders and elsewhere, to see the beauty of those areas and experience things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to engage in. And then in North Edinburgh, many will be aware of the Spartans Community Foundation, a really innovative and pioneering football club that is doing more than just using the power of football to make a huge difference in Edinburgh's most deprived communities. Kenny and his team there for decades have been making a substantial impact. There's the Granton Youth Centre, Civil Service Strollers and a range of other organisations in North Edinburgh who are engaged across the board in opportunities for young people. But last but not least, I want to raise awareness of a small organisation in North Edinburgh, previously called Face North, now called Midnight and Beyond. And the reason I want to mention them is because I think the difference they make is really symbolic of the intervention that youth work can provide, both for the people involved in terms of the positive benefits for those youngsters, but also the wider impact on society, on community and on the public purse. People will be well aware of the youth crime issues that we're facing in Edinburgh at the moment. They are really serious. They should be further up the agenda, and I've already spoken about that in the Chamber and will say more in the period ahead. People are also aware of the issues that has created in the east of Edinburgh, particularly around Bonfire Night. It's been well documented. A number of years ago, we faced issues in North Edinburgh very similar to those that have been happening in the east. But this organisation, Midnight and Beyond, for 2 years have been working with the groups of young people who were involved in the issues previously in North Edinburgh around Fireworks Night. And for 2 years, because of the engagement, because of the investment, because of the support, we haven't seen the same issues in North Edinburgh that we're seeing in East Edinburgh on Bonfire Night. And that is because of the collaboration between youth work organisations, particularly Midnight and beyond, but others as well, the Council and Police Scotland. And I end on that because I think it gets to the heart of what we're trying to celebrate and emphasise today, which is with minimal investment in youth work services, we can make a transformative difference for the people who benefit from it, but also we can reduce both negative consequences in the community and cost to the public purse by doing that worthy investment of supporting youth work services. The Scottish Government, and I know we'll hear from the Minister about this in a minute, have invested significantly in youth work. But if there's more that we can do, particularly in areas where there's challenge, think of the difference we can make.
Thank you, Mr McPherson. I now call on Minister Graham Day to respond to the debate. Up to 7 minutes, please, Minister.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. And let me thank Christine Graham for bringing this motion to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Tweedale Youth Action to the Chamber. I also want to take the opportunity to recognise and highlight the youth work sector as a whole. We know that frontline youth work positively impacts a young person's self-esteem and confidence. It also helps them improve their physical and mental well-being. Youth work does that by enabling young people to access non-formal education activities that enable them to learn about themselves, others and society. And for that, I offer a huge thanks and delighted to congratulate Tweedale Youth Action on celebrating its 25 years of youth work and the positive difference this has made to the many young people over that time. It is a truly significant milestone to reach. So being able to sustain and evolve an offering to young people with all the challenges that can present around attracting and retaining volunteers to maintain that offering is quite something. And we should take the opportunity Christine Graham hands us to acknowledge that. I also note the invitations issued by members to make visits to specific projects they have noted in their contributions. I'll give that consideration, although if I were to take up all such invitations, I would need to, I suspect, clone myself, and as I'm sure colleagues will agree, one of me is more than enough. The Scottish Government, Presiding Officer, values youth work as an essential and valuable part of our education system. It helps young people learn about themselves, others and society through enjoyable and challenging activities. But even more than that, it has an important role to play in creating equity and supporting young people to reach their full potential, something that Craig Hoy alluded to. And I'll wait the member.
Craig Hoy.
The Minister for taking the intervention. As the Scottish Government prepares for its budget next week, will he do everything he can to encourage ministers to ensure that local authority funding is maintained and preserved? Because many councils fund such organisations, and it is one of these things that is being put at risk, and these projects are being put at risk by the fact that councils increasingly are facing resourcing issues.
Minister. Presiding Officer, I'm not going to get into the budget, which comes next week, nor am I going to stray into the territory of other portfolios. What I'll say to the member is, from my perspective and the projects that my budget funds, I am particularly keen to ensure that the money that we're able to put into this, and we do quite a lot in that space, is directed to frontline delivery, because I've seen for myself the positive benefits that has. I think it's important that we reflect on Tweedale Youth Action's values in this space. For example, the importance to them that for their projects, and I quote, all young people can take part and belong regardless of their financial situation, and helping them achieve their full potential regardless of the background they come from. The success of TYA over the last 20 years, as I've noted, no small feat. They've achieved great things, and I'm sure they'll continue to do that. Christine Graham noted a number of the particular initiatives. What they have in common is that they're all improving outcomes for young people along the way. None of this is possible without the dedicated staff, the volunteers and the trustees who give up their time to ensure young people are supported through the many youth groups and activities TYA provide. The work they do is fantastic, it's invaluable, and I therefore want to extend my sincere thanks to each and every one of them for the support they provide young people and the role they play. It cannot be understated. It's right that we celebrate this and the achievements of TYA in improving the lives of many young local people over a sustained period of time, not least the contribution that they've made to ensuring those young people have the opportunities to thrive and ultimately reach their potential to succeed. Their mission is, and I quote again, to support young people on their journey from childhood to adulthood through providing free opportunities for all. They will, and again quote, help young people to develop skills, grow in confidence, make smart choices, take responsibility and ultimately feel that sense of belonging within their community that we all need. Their words, not mine, but ones I would wholeheartedly share and support. And the testimonials that Christine Graham highlighted indicates that TYA are succeeding in their ambitions. Looking to the future can, for young people, often be daunting, and of course each person's journey in the world of work is unique. There is no wrong path. Apprenticeships, college, university, volunteering or employment are all valid options, and I'm determined that we continue to offer a range of opportunities for young people. As such, we want young people to make confident and informed decisions about their future, and I'm sure the initiatives offered by TYA will have supported young people in this endeavour. The Food Punks and Bike Punks initiatives are clearly excellent examples of this happening in practice. From a number of visits I've made to Scottish Government-funded projects and others, I absolutely believe that the third sector organisations play a critical role in using their expertise to address the issues facing young people and to support individuals who have been failed by the traditional education offering to find a way forward. Since April 2016, the Children, Young People and Families Early Intervention and Adult Learning and Empowerment Communities Fund has been providing over £14 million of annual funding to over 100 third sector organisations across Scotland, as well as providing non-financial support. And we're determined that Scotland's young people furthest from inclusion will realise their full potential in learning and life and work. The independent review... I will, indeed.
Christine Graham.
Can I ask, what's come out of this debate is how essential youth work is in helping children who might take the wrong route in life. And if we've been really hard on it, not just the individuals that benefit, but society. So can I ask that around the Cabinet table, that this is given a priority across the portfolios of education, health and justice, because it is issues for all of them. And so much could be saved on those portfolios, as well as positive lives for young people. So I just want it higher on the agenda at the Cabinet.
Minister. Presiding Officer, I don't sit in Cabinet and I can't speak for Cabinet. What I will say to Christine Graham is that a few months ago, the First Minister and I visited a project in Glasgow, quite an exciting project, and we looked at the broader range of activities that were taking place in that area. And I know the First Minister was very much alive.
Minister, could I ask you to direct your comments to the microphone, please?
Apologies, Presiding Officer. I know the First Minister, as I was very impressed with the impact that's having. So it's certainly on the First Minister's radar. I'll say that to Christine Graham. As I said a moment ago, we are determined that Scotland's young people furthest from inclusion will realise their potential and the enormous potential that they have. And as we move forward in this area, we intend to work with various stakeholders, including young people, in our endeavours. The Independent Review of Community Learning and Development is a piece of work that I think can underpin our aspirations in this regard, because our aim is to improve the outcomes for young people by ensuring a stronger, better connected system that promotes equality and equity. Equally important is raising the voice of young people, and I expect the review will help us provide a new framework that champions their voices and lived experience. Once again, Presiding Officer, my thanks go to Christine Graham for allowing us to explore the great work that Tweedale Youth Action are doing to improve outcomes for and the lives of the young people they interact with, and for her eloquent highlighting of this, and also for the opportunity we've had to explore the broader impacts of wider youth work. I want to wish TYA and the young people they've engaged with and continue to engage with the very best for the future. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Minister. That concludes the debate, and I suspend this meeting until 2 p.m. Thank you.